Hey everybody, this is Doa, and I thought I would do another cast from a replay for you. I've just been in the mood lately, so why not? Let's get it going. Here's a replay that I actually obtained from none other than TT1 while he was here for the World Championships. He gave this replay to me to cast, so big thanks to him, of course, first of all. And as you can see, his opponent knows who he is. This is from the Korean ladder. Who could it be? We're about to find out. It's GSl, that's right. So we've got TT1 versus GSl. As you can see, both friendly to each other, both fans of each other, definitely. So this should be a great game here on Xel Naga Caverns. So of course we do have TT1 spawning as our red Protoss player up at the top of Xel Naga Caverns, and his opponent is going to be none other than GSl, as we just saw down at the bottom of the map. Salt, please? I don't know. But just to try to prove to everyone that I am learning a little bit of Korean, I'll try to sound this out a little bit. See this? This is su, and this is ta, and this is te, and this is il. So startail, and then this is ansimi, which is I'm not quite sure what that means exactly. So this may be a different account that July uses sometimes to ladder, or it could mean July, I guess it is, but I don't believe that's how you say July in Korean. So I think it's probably something different, but see, I can basically read Hangul, and I can kind of sound it out, but I don't know. My Korean vocabulary is still kind of bad. I can say, you know, enough to get around, enough to like buy things in stores, but I couldn't, you know, talk politics or something like that. But as you can see, July here going gas first, getting pool afterwards. Very common, very safe opening for Zerg players. If you're having any trouble against Protoss right now and you are a Zerg player, definitely open like that. You get the lings out, you get the speed going. Definitely a lot more stable of an opening than going hatch first. Especially if your opponent sees it, he can just throw down a forge and cannon you in, and that's no fun at all. So definitely do that against Protoss, especially in a small map like Xel Naga Caverns. It's very, very difficult to pull anything else off in the StarCraft 2 metagame right now. So TT1 getting his gas and his gateway at the normal time. Looks like he's going to put down a cybernetics core to help him complete that wall off. Well, really it's not going to be complete until he gets the zealot out, and then Zealot's going to go like right there. Plug the gap, if you will. Now July is sending out some overlords to do some scouting, and I like the positioning that he's sending his overlords out right now. This is something too, I mean, if you're a newer Zerg player, watch where the overlords go when you're watching a pro player. It's so important. I like to park one right here. I don't know if July is going to do that. Yep, he is. So July is actually parking an overlord right here. This lets you kind of poke in here, see what's at the different towers, and maybe kind of catch things walking past. So just a general good place to put an overlord. And then we can see he also sent his first one up there to scout the wall off, just to kind of see if there's any crazy shenanigans going on there as well. So July with some good overlord placement, he can kind of sneak around the back here, check the gases as well. So yeah, make sure you're using your overlords too. I'm very Zerg focused lately because it's what I'm kind of playing myself a lot. So if I kind of focus more on the Zerg than the Protoss, that's why. Sorry about that, Protoss fans out there. But anyway, looks like TT1 is going to be going for a 3-gate opening with 2 gas. This is very common. This is very safe. Both players opening very safely. We see July. He did get his hatchery down here, of course. Getting his Zergling speed up. He's got a queen out. He's got another queen on the way, which should get out just in time to walk down, start spawning larvae on this hatchery, of course. But let's talk a little bit more about TT1's opening. This 3-gate opening, you usually get about 1 zealot, 2 sentries, maybe 3 sentries, and then move down the ramp at about, I would say, 30 food. Put your first pylon right here. Get your Nexus going. Very good expand build. You can see July poking in at the front, and what he's looking for probably is to see whether there's a sentry or a stalker here. That's kind of a big tell in a lot of Protoss builds. If you see sentries, you can kind of guess it's probably going to be an expand. That's not always the case, but it's you know, most likely. And as you can see, July just wants to be sure. He's going to send an overlord in. He knows that it's going to survive for a long time because the sentries don't do a whole lot of damage. So he is going to see these 2 gateways. Now TT1, of course, could have another gateway hidden somewhere. It could be a 4-gate. There's a lot of Protoss players that do 3-gate, or do 4-gate rather, that kind of make it look like a 3-gate expand, I guess you could say. But as you can see, July poking in with his lings, he does see the Nexus go down. He does see the sentries. So that tells him again, most likely it's going to be an expand build, although there are still some openings Protoss can do where they cancel the Nexus, do a 4th gateway. We've seen it in GSL many times. So how is July reacting to this right now? He's getting his lair really fast. He's got a roach warren coming up somewhere. There it is. So he wants to get roaches. He probably wants to get a lair fast for that roach burrow, possibly roach speed as well. That's very safe. Oh, I like that. Larva spawning right away. The queen vomiting larva all over again. So July, of course, one of the best Zergs in Korea right now. And here's the next thing that usually happens after you see a Protoss player do that 3-gate expand. They do a little bit of a push. Just because 3-gate expand into, you know, another couple gateways is pretty powerful. Looks like TT1's just going to go with 3 gates for now. Have to see if he puts down a forge or another gateway after this. Sometimes different players do that. Oh, battle for the Overlord. And here's the other nice thing about the Overlord is that it's kind of tough to lose it. July trying to save the Overlord right now. But it should be pretty secure in the middle of this kind of hole area, I guess you could say, floating above the abyss. And right now, TT1 has got a pack of speedlings out on the map right now. Always good to have that out to kind of threaten your opponent. You're kind of saying, okay, Protoss, if you move out, I'm going to move in with my speedlings, hopefully kill some probes, do some damage. TT1 going after a third as well. You notice he's not going after this gold. Instead, he's going after this third base. Again, a little bit safer. And as Zerg right now, you definitely do need to play very safe against Protoss in most cases. Right now, Zerg is still kind of experimenting with ways to sort of take on Protoss in the metagame. And man, we have seen Zerg lately make some significant strides against Protoss. Holy cow. Nest's semifinal games in the GSL just blew my mind, man. It was amazing. Although that was against Terran, but I just thought I'd throw that in there anyway. So TT1 opting for the Forge and the Robo after that. Some players like to get mass gateways, some players like to get the Forge and the Robo. TT1 opting with the Forge for that quick +1. July Zerg putting down his third hatchery right now. And let's see what he's going for here. Okay, he is getting an Evolution Chamber. He's getting a Roach Warren, deciding to go for the speed first rather than Burrow. TT1 will scout this expansion though. Sees it before the Lynx take him out, so TT1 knows that July is on a third base. And in response to that, right away, TT1 going over and breaking down his rocks. He knows that he needs to try to keep up at bases. If you can stay on even bases with a Zerg player as a Protoss, I think right now, in my opinion anyway, that gives you a bit of an advantage. The whole Protoss death ball thing, of course. A couple cannons. Keeping things a little bit safe. We do have another gateway going down for TT1. Pylon as well. You notice that the pylon placement right here, kind of keeping things from running in a little bit. He can put cannons back here. Preparing things in advance. First Overlord out for TT1 as well, so he's going to be able to get some good information on his opponent that way. July transferring some drones down. And look at this, July getting some upgrades as well. He's getting the +1 missile attacks, and he also has a Hydralisk Den getting range. You don't see a whole lot of Zerg players going Roach Hydra anymore against Protoss. It used to be a little bit more common, but TT1 playing a little bit differently than we've seen him go in the past too. He likes his Mutal-Link quite a bit, even against Protoss. So I'm a little bit surprised to see him to go with the Hydra Den, but, you know, it's July Zerg. He's just going to wait for that one point in the match where he senses a weakness, he smells blood, and suddenly July Zerg is all in and he's going to take down his opponent in most cases. Once that killer switch, I like to call it, kill switch maybe, I don't know. I'll think of a cool name for it someday. Goes off in July's head, usually decides to just kind of go after his opponent. And right now, July producing a lot of offensive units, trying to go after that third, but TT1's army is right in position here. And neither player really wanting to engage at this point. It's too even, but it looks like July is going to go after this third base right now. TT1 probably going to need to cancel. I don't know if he's going to be able to defend this Nexus. He does have some sentries. Is he going to be able to get some good force fields off, though? Oh, the Nexus getting really low. TT1 did cancel, though, I believe. And so TT1 a little bit behind now. And look at this, July taking a gold as well, so July really in control of this game. Only slightly ahead in the food count right now, 131 over 120. Let's take a look at the income tab, 67 to 65 TT1, actually ahead in harvesters, but July never really known to be a very big economy Zerg, so that's not too surprising really. Now this is more the July we know and love, getting that Spire up right now. He did probably notice some Robotech, I believe. And I'm not talking about the cartoon from the 80s, I'm talking about that right there. The technology that lets you build robotic units. So he is getting that Spire, of course, for Corruptors as well. But yeah, right now, TT1 looking to be in a pretty good position. Oh, he does manage to corrupt that right before the first Colossus comes out. That's going to slow things down a little bit for TT1. 30 seconds is a long time to add to the building of something. And of course, he can waste some Chrono Boost as well that I think TT1 was using on that. TT1 trying to expand again to his third, but July is right there. Is he going to try to deny it again? I think he probably is, but this time the TT1 army is in position. Ready to go, and July decides to pull back. Both of these players playing extremely safe right now. Usually the latter is when you see something going a little bit more crazier than usual, but both of these players really taking each other seriously. A huge group of mutas out right now. 10 mutas out for July Zerg, and I really don't think that TT1 is going to be expecting this. Did he see the Spire? No, he has no idea that the Spire is coming, so those Mutalisks moving across the map right now, and I bet they're going to be able to cause some pretty big damage. Let's see what happens. TT1 transferring some drones down at the same time. July, what is he going to go after? Just kind of flying around for the moment. Going after the probes in the mineral line on the main base. And he is going to get a ton of kills right now. TT1 completely unprepared for this, and the army for July Zerg massing in the middle of the map as well. TT1 again losing lots of units trying to move everything in. Take care of this. Stalkers chasing away the Mutalisks from July Zerg. But July doing a lot of damage. Taking out about, I think, about 10 to 20 harvesters right now. And look at this, July going for the third base, and there's not an army there to defend with it. Just a tiny little bit of forces from TT1. This will be taken out very, very easily. In fact, July going after the Colossus with the Mutalisks. In the meantime, the Nexus is getting so low and it gets taken out. TT1 is going to lose everything at this third base. Now moving in with his bigger army. July, though, playing very, very smartly. Just going to pull back. Wow, July just playing amazingly right now. TT1 has said a lot of times that ZVP, or PvZ rather, is his weak matchup. So maybe not feeling quite as confident. But here comes TT1 right now. July Zerg does have a good amount of speedlings. Nice force fields preventing those links from causing too much damage. But the mutas are in the main base again. TT1 going after the Cyber Core this time. Wants to cut down the Stalker numbers. And TT1 moving in. He's going to go after the gold base. Counterattacking because basically he knows he's way behind right now. 70 food behind to July Zerg at the moment. Let's make the screen all big because it's so exciting. Oh, a ton of Banelings coming out right now for July Zerg. But he does lose his gold base. What is he going to do, though? Really, Banelings aren't the best against a huge Stalker composition. In numbers that large, it really doesn't matter, though. I think TT1 is just so far ahead right now. He just does not care. Lost his gold, but that's okay. Here come all the Lings right now. Some force fields trapping some of them in. A couple wasted force fields there for TT1. July looking into be pretty good command right now. Lings being prevented. Oh, TT1 gets the force fields out just in time. Not many Banelings get in at all. July thwarted for the moment. But those force fields can't last forever. Force fields getting in right now. Some Banelings bypassing, getting into the Stalkers that are getting very, very weak. But somehow TT1 manages to hold off July in that attack. And right now, July is in danger of losing his third. What in the world happened? Somehow TT1 able to come back and come out almost on top of that fight. I don't think that was a very, resounding victory, but look at this. July losing his third as well, and suddenly things don't look quite as stable for July Zerg. TT1 with some great force fields. I really think making those Banelings was probably a bit of a mistake by July right there. He had a lot of Lings. Really, the Banelings aren't too good against Stalkers, but here comes July. He's got a huge army right now. Force fields preventing a lot of those from firing, though. TT1 doing a ton of damage with the Colossus. Mutalisks getting taken down. There is an Immortal there doing some damage as well, but its shields are gone. And somehow, again, TT1 coming out just barely ahead right now. July Zerg, the lead has been cut significantly, 107 to 94. And let's take a look at the income tab as well. July, a little bit behind in income right now to TT1. July's main is mined out. His natural getting very, very low as well. TT1 still has a little bit in each of those. So July just simply mining things out faster and using all those resources on all those Banelings has given TT1 a bit of a chance to come back, I gotta say. I mean, July is still ahead, but wow, if TT1 controls this, he could actually win this game. I'm actually so surprised right now. I thought I would have said GG for July Zerg about 5 minutes ago right now, but somehow TT1 playing really, really well this game. Managing to stay alive. July doing some distance mining from that gold base, getting a proxy hatchery up, trying to rebuild his gold. If he can get that up and running again, that'll be extremely helpful. July again pulling ahead in the supply count. Let's take a look at the unit counting station right now. TT1 with not a lot of offensive units, really, just one Immortal, 4 Colossi, 12 Stalkers, so that is it right there. Kind of a small looking army. Meanwhile, July Zerg, 23 Roaches, 5 Hydras. Decent amount of Lings as well. July doing some scouting with that right now. And July getting Corruptors as well to handle those Colossi. Looking to be a little bit beefy. So right now both players kind of biding their time. I think they're pretty surprised. This is actually turning out to be one of the best ladder games I've ever seen, honestly. Wow. Alright, Probe doing some scouting, maybe looking for another base from Jelizerg, but here comes July. He's going after the third again. Corruptor's going after the Colossi, but there's a lot of Stalkers right now. A nice force fields from TT1 preventing the army from July. The ground army stuck outside of the fight. The Corruptor's going after the Colossi, though. July has a lot of Corruptors, maybe even a few too many. No, he has just enough to take down that last Colossus. TT1 splitting up the army of Jelizerg every time they try to get in. July needing to pull back again. Wow, and TT1 really coming in with some clutch force field play near the end of this game. Although I guess I shouldn't say end of this game. This could go on for a little while yet. I have the time thing hidden from me, so I really have no idea how long this game is, to be honest with you guys. Wow, this is like the GSl, the team league between the World Championships and the Koreans all over again. We saw so many great games like this, and TT1 did give us a lot of those. Here comes Jelizerg right now. And again, TT1 splitting off some of those units. July going after the Cyber Core again. Wants to cut down those Stalker count. And is July going to have enough? TT1 has so many sentries right now. The force field's preventing a lot of the army from going through. July going after the cannons instead. But right now, July, I don't know what he's doing. He can't engage the army. Going after a few things that really don't matter. He really just needs to pull back and defend right now. But again, TT1... he just has that switch in his brain that says, okay, it's time to kill my opponent or I die. That switch has been flipped. And right now, July trying his best to take down TT1.
Mineral field depleted.
And we'll have to see what happens next. July did get his gold up and running again. Here comes TT1 with a pretty beefy army. That's a lot of Immortals as well. Sentry Stalker, Immortal, a couple Zealots, not really doing a whole lot. The Corruptors feeling a little bit useless right now, and the force fields from TT1 really preventing July from being able to do anything right now. Look at that force field uses, not wasting a single one. TT1 really playing fantastically in this game, despite losing his third early on, and July's gold base is going to be taken out. Again, it looks like no, July just GGing, and that is it. Somehow TT1 coming from being 70 food down, able to take down Jelizerg on the Korean ladder. Great play from both players. I really think it came down to when July made all those banelings and then didn't really make use of them, wasn't really able to make them work. I think that was kind of the turning point in that game, in my opinion. But wow, great game between two top players either way. Thanks for watching, guys. That turned out a lot better than I thought it was. That was an awesome game. Wow, that was great. I'm gonna have to really thank TT1 for this. But yeah, thanks for watching. If you like my casting, definitely subscribe. Also, follow me on Twitter at DoaSC. Make sure you watch the GSL. It is awesome all of the time, no matter who is casting. And yeah, again, thanks for watching, guys. Keep playing StarCraft 2, and I will see you guys on the next cast.